Most people don't know what aeroplane mode actually does.
And for those who do, are unaware of how unnecessary it really is.
Putting your phone on aeroplane mode has become second nature for most of us. But what does it actually do? Well, I conducted a survey asking that exact same question.
And here are the results. You can see here most people pick the same thing, option number 1. But is this correct? To know that, we need to see the options. So, here they are. If you would like to have a go at this, you can. I'll put a timer for a few seconds, but if you want more time, you can pause the video. The correct answer is not option number 1. Nor is it option number 2, as you can just turn Bluetooth back on again, even if aeroplane mode is turned on. It's not number 4 either. The correct answer is number 3. The least amount of people picked the correct answer. And I think this is something to do with the fact that there are many exaggerated news articles out there. But the correct answer is option number 3. To understand why this is the case, we need to learn about radio signals. Your phone is sending out signals everywhere right now. Of course, beyond the spectrum of light in which we can see. These are radio waves. Your phone emits electromagnetic waves which connect to networks. These signals are mostly radio waves, coming in a variety of wavelengths. When you call someone in your phone, these radio waves are given to the nearest cell tower. If you are far away from a cell tower, these radio signals from your phone try to reach the nearest tower by sending a signal of higher magnitude. This is why if you are in mountainous areas, there is usually a weak signal due to the absence of cell towers. Another reason these signals can be affected in these areas is because of the trees and mountains, which can lead to signal interference, resulting in weak or no signal. So, once connected, this signal is delivered to many other cell towers until it gets to the recipient. Each of these signals is assigned by the cell towers a different wavelength, so you don't pick up anyone else's calls. So what aeroplane mode actually does is turn off all radio signals from your phone when you're flying, so that your phone doesn't interrupt anyone on the ground's signals. What you're essentially doing when you turn off aeroplane mode during a flight is sending giant radio waves that interfere with these signals. So all you're really doing is making it difficult for people to call each other on the ground. Or are you? The truth is, this is not a direct cause. Instead, your phone is attempting to connect to the cell towers itself, which can cause interference with the cellular network on the ground. This idea might sound convincing, however there are many problems with it that nobody even tried to test. In 1961, the Federal Aviation Industry realized that some portable FM radios could interfere with a plane's navigation systems, as they used neighboring radio bands. The result? Almost all electronics were banned on flight. A phone can usually only connect to a few towers when on the ground, but in a plane, there are so many passengers. 300 or so phones could rapidly connect to the cell towers below. See, when flying at such high speeds, the FCC, Federal Communication Commission, the agency regulating communications, believed that these phones would connect to many different cell towers down below. In the air, a phone could see 10 or 20 cell towers, and if so many phones were connecting to these cell towers, that would cause a network overload. But there are many flaws with this idea. First of all, the plane's metal body acts as a Faraday cage, which effectively blocks or greatly reduces electromagnetic signals from your phone, including radio frequency signals and cellular signals. This is because the plane's metal skin distributes the electromagnetic charges evenly around its surface, cancelling out the external electromagnetic fields. As a result, the signals from your phone are significantly weakened, making it difficult for them to escape through the plane's metal body. So the only place signals can really escape
is through the windows.
The windows are the primary means of signal escape, but they're facing horizontally, which means the signals are highly unlikely to reach those cell towers. Also, cell towers typically transmit signals downward to collect signals from people on the ground, not in the sky. This is because the signals from cell towers are designed to travel in a downward direction, and the plane's altitude is too great for the signals to be effectively received by the cell towers. So it's a combination of the plane's Faraday cage effect and the downward orientation of cell tower signals that makes aeroplane mode less necessary on flights. These signals can only really reach the cell towers during takeoff or landing, since that's when the plane is close to the ground. So why does aeroplane mode still exist? Well, remember, signals could still interfere during takeoff or landing, so it is still necessary in those times. So why don't we just have a rule which states that you must turn on aeroplane mode during those times only? Well, that's because these radio signals could be doing something else. They could interfere with the plane's navigation systems and radar tools. But hang on, didn't I say earlier that this is not the case? The truth is, a phone has never caused a plane crash. So really, whether phones actually affect aircraft systems is unknown. Let's assume that this theory is correct. Well then, we have a big problem. Phones and the aircraft systems are both located inside the plane, so the Faraday cage idea won't help us. Also, these radio signals could interfere with something vital for flying a plane: the radio altimeter. You see, 5G emissions could cause this piece of equipment to be affected. And that isn't good. The radio altimeter is used to show the plane's altitude, which is proven to be successful. Usually, the radio altimeter setup goes something like this. There are two antennas, one which sends a signal and the other receives it. First, the signal is sent by the transmitter antenna, then reflected off the ground. These signals travel at the speed of light, so the distance can be calculated by measuring the time it takes for that reflected signal to be received by the aircraft. This can be done by using this formula. Multiply the measured time by the speed of light, and then divide by 2, since the signals travel the distance twice, to the ground and back. The radio altimeter operates at a frequency of 4.2 to 4.4 GHz to protect it from harmful radio interference. But when 5G was introduced, people realized that the telecommunication frequency was alarmingly close to this amount. This could cause interference with the radio altimeter and ultimately lead to a worse altitude measurement. This is one of the reasons aeroplane mode still exists. However, it hasn't been shown that a plane could cause this type of error with newer planes. This has been tested many times and no such interference was found with new planes. But older technology could still get affected. So aeroplane mode is less necessary than you might think. But obviously, do as you're told and make sure you still turn it on in flight. Unless, of course, you live in Europe. In that case, do whatever you like with your phone. This is because the EU is striving towards passengers being able to use their mobile device fully on flight. They are even forcing airlines to provide 5G technology on board. Perhaps other places will follow, and aeroplane mode could just be a thing of the past. Thanks for watching till the end. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. See you next time.